This call is now being recorded.
Sir, should we start the session?
Uh, Man, just 1 minute.
Okay.
11:05 will start.
11:05, fine.
Hello. Shall we start, ma'am?
Yes, we will start. 50 students have joined, so good morning, everyone. Today we are going to have a live talk by Miss Fessy Francis, who is our alumni. She has graduated from the Information Technology Department in the year 2015, and she is having more than 5 years experience in software development. So today she is going to introduce us to Angular version 6, which is a new technology, and she will be telling us like what are the opportunities there for the IT students. So a warm welcome to you, Fessy, and I request you to begin.
Thank you, ma'am. Hey, guys. So yes, as ma'am told, I'm an ex-DBIT. So no, I had passed out in the year of 2015. And as part of campus placement, I got recruited to Tata Consultancy Services, and I'm serving there presently. So talking about my profile, I am a backend developer working as a Java developer, Java being the main technology being used. So what happened is during my this project phase, there was a requirement for a UI person. There was a lack of resource, and they asked us to step into that role as well. So nowadays, corporates are more into full stack developers. For experience, I'm talking with respect to the experienced people. They want the people to handle both front end as well as back end. That is their need nowadays. So as part of that, I was asked to work on the front-end part as well. And the technology that my project was making use is Angular, and the version was 6. So when ma'am asked to have a talk on a topic that I am comfortable or I am working on, so basically it's Java. Since 5 years, I am more than 5 years I am working in Java technology. But then taking up Java as a topic for you guys, that won't serve the purpose, right? I mean, college itself, they are teaching us some basics of Java, and that is like an no, we can evolve more on that because we have a small idea what Java is. So even if you enter into corporates, okay, this is the basic. I need to search more on that to get an understand. But you have a basic understanding on it. Talking about Angular, I feel, I mean, during my curriculum, we didn't had Angular in the syllabus, and we were not aware of such a technology. So I thought, let's have that topic today. So the motive of this talk would, anyway, all knows that in 1 hour, no one would be an expert, right? No one will be having a hands-on on Angular. That is not at all the motive. The motive is just to get you an introduction to what this technology is, basically. How are we using it? Why are we using it? And what it is. So in future, not now, maybe in future, when you guys will be into, maybe if you guys opt for software development as your profession, that time you will come across these terms as Angular. If you go and search for jobs now also in any of the recruitment sites, many companies has recruitment for this technology. So in future also, I believe this will have a scope. So going ahead, when you will come across Angular, you will just have a connection. Okay, that time I had a small session on this. Okay, this is what she was telling that day. Maybe this, what I will be telling you is not more on the technical side. It's a introduction. That is the whole motive for this session. Okay. Any questions till now? Or any feedback, like if I'm going a bit fast or I'm going a bit slow, or any such issues? Any of you?
No, you're speaking perfect, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So let me share the screen for showing up the slide. 1 minute. Let me know once you're able to see the slide that I'm sharing.
It's visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Okay, guys. So let us start with Angular presentation. Before starting it, since this topic is more specific, right? Specific to a technology. Basically, when you have an alumni speaking, it's always like what career you should choose ahead, or what are the other things that you should do in order to get into any companies, or maybe some masters you need to do, that kind of talk, right? Mostly were you guys anytime having topic specific talk, like a technology specific talk? Anyone, if you can? Or is this the first? No, I believe, right? This is not the first talk you are having, right? Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what were the kind of topics that used to have as an alumni when they speak, if I could get an idea on that?
For the SE, this is the first technical session, but for the others, there have been sessions on research and
Okay.
some technologies like how to build your resume, etc.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for the update. Yeah, so that kind of a topic is like an right, that will be applicable to the entire crowd that they are listening to it, right? But this is like only few people who would be into software development profession. Also, they are thinking of being a full stack or being a front end developer. So this topic is mainly for them. Okay, so the others also, you never know what you will be in future, right? We think one thing, but entering into corporate, you would be assigned different roles. We never know. So this, I believe that this session would not be waste of time for you guys. You will at least have an idea. Like, okay, this is what Angular is, and if you want to study, okay, or if you want to learn, it won't be a much time-taking process that way. So that is the overall intention, okay, behind this session. Okay, so let me start. So as I told earlier, the main objective that I am aiming to achieve is an introduction. That's the only purpose I am thinking for this session, because we cannot get an hands-on within 1 hour. It is just to make you guys familiar, like what this Angular technology is. Anyone, have you ever heard of this technology, or any hands-on or any small projects you guys have any time done? Anyone? Or is it a new topic altogether? Yes or no? Anything is
New
fine.
topic.
New.
Yeah, it's a
No.
new topic. We only heard about Angular as a front end framework.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So when we get into corporates, these are the very common technology they ask for. Okay. So I believe this would be a good session for you all guys. Okay. Okay. So coming about to the agenda, as I told, what we will be doing is we will be giving an introduction on what Angular is. So that will basically cover what column of the agenda. Other question is, why do the corporates make use of Angular? Why not other? I mean, JavaScript was the one which was being used till time. So why are we migrating it to Angular? There should be any profit, or there should be some ease because of which people are getting migrated to Angular. So that we will cover and why. And the last one is how to make use of Angular in a project. So that will be a small demo that I will take you through. So what I have done is I have just set up a code already done. So I won't take much time of yours, typing and showing you stuff. I have already done the code part. I have commented few code snippets. So as and when I will go through one features, I will uncomment it and I will show you by running the same. Okay. Any questions, or any suggestions, or anything you want to ask, or should I go ahead? Okay, I take it as a no. Okay. Okay, so let us start with what is Angular. Okay. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Anyone know why Angular got its name as Angular? I mean, can you guys guess? It has HTML codes in it. That's a hint. If anyone could tell why it has an Angular as a name. Anyone? It has HTML tags. Anyone able to think why? The tags are written inside something, right?
Those brackets are
Oh yeah,
called
those
angular
angular
brackets.
brackets.
Angular
Yeah.
brackets.
Yes. So yes, perfect. So that's how it got the name as Angular. It has HTML templates in it, the DOM structures. So that's how it got the name as Angular. Talking about Angular, it is a development platform. Basically, its usage is in the front end. It makes use of a language called as TypeScript. It is similar to that of a JavaScript. So earlier, when this Angular thing was developed in the year of 2010, and that was by a team from Google. So when they developed, its name was basically Angular JS. So when they came up with Angular JS, okay, anyone know what single page application is? Okay, let me tell you what single page application means. SPA. Basically, it is like we will have, it would be a web application or a website where the user will have a kind of input to the website or the data would be displayed to the user. So in that case, the entire web browser should not reload. It's only the view that should get refreshed. So that is a need. That is what SPA means. So when we were making use of Angular JS, it basically had an MVC architecture. Okay, so I believe everyone may have heard about MVC. It's basically model, view, and controller. Model will have its logic. View will be what it has to display to the user, the HTML kind of template, and controller would be the one which will decide which view should go to which model or which model should go to which view. So that is the kind of architecture Angular J has had. So what was happening is when a person gives any request, it was taking more amount of time to refresh that page. So seeing this, people had opted Angular JS at that time, but then Facebook had come up with another technology called as React. So that was a bit faster. They were making use of a component-based framework. I will go ahead and I will show you what component-based framework is basically. So when React came, the demand for Angular JS drastically dropped, and it became a challenge for them to come up with something different apart from Angular JS. So as a version upgrade, they came up with Angular 2. Okay, when they came up with Angular 2, the Angular JS has a JS tag in it. That means it is a JavaScript, more on the JavaScript side. So what they did is, as an upgrade to the version, they not only removed JavaScript, they had introduced TypeScript in it, and the architecture which they were following earlier was MVC. They made it to component-based framework. Okay, they changed the architecture from MVC to component-based. So what was happening is how React used to work. It had a more better performance. Angular also served the same purpose going ahead. So the people who were working in Angular JS, they were able to migrate to Angular, and people are currently making use of both the technologies, Angular as well as React. Some companies prefer Angular, some projects prefer React, project wise, but they scale in the same level. Okay. So that is regarding what Angular is. So when we go and create an Angular project, there's a lot of dependencies also that gets downloaded with the Angular. Okay, that is what the third point I had stated, that it's a collection of libraries that will help us to achieve various features going ahead. I will, while demoing, you can have a gist on that, what I meant. Okay. And the fourth point, it is since it is a component based. When I talk about component, what it means is when I create a project, suppose there is a root project. There is a root. When we open a website, okay, it will have the home page. Inside home page, there will be sub menus. There might be user registration. There would be view results or do assignments. That kind of a tabs. Those are the child menus, right? Child components. So while creating this child components or the root components, what we do is we are having it loosely coupled. We are nowhere having any tight coupling to it. Loose, I believe you guys would be aware of loose coupled and tight coupled. I mean, loose coupled means if I modify a single component, it won't be having any effect on the other components. Okay, but whereas in tight coupled, making an updation to a single component or anything is very difficult because it has dependencies with other things as well. Okay. So when we are making use of Angular, it is always a component based. So because of that, any updation if you want to make, it becomes very easier. So that is a fourth point, designed to make updating straightforward. So this is a regarding what Angular is. Okay. Any questions or is the speed fine? How am I speaking?
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Okay. You guys are following, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So the next question that we had in our agenda is why are we using Angular? There should be some profit that the companies or the corporates should have or the project should have. Why? Earlier we had JavaScript, so why there is a change altogether to an Angular, which is a TypeScript. So as I told earlier, the first point is architecture. It has change from an MVC to a component-based architecture, which makes it easier for every developer who comes up. Okay, if a new person is onboarded to a project and he comes and if he sees, okay, there is an home is the, suppose it's a user details website. There he comes and he see, okay, home is a separate component. He can go to that component, he can read the details of that home, he will get to know, okay, what is home basically doing. He can switch to the other component, maybe user details. He will have only details related to that user detail stuff. Similarly, user registration. So everything is broken down, which helps a newly boarded developer, the person who would be working on, to understand the code. That is the fourth point. Okay, readability. Readability is very easier. So as we know, no one is permanent in a project. There is always a change in the project. The resources always keeps on changing. So it's very important while we develop a code that a person who would be coming up after us should be able to understand what we have written. It should not be like I wrote it something, it is working fine, but if I am leaving the company or if I'm leaving the project, other person coming up, he won't be able to understand only. So that is a very big challenge people face. So nowadays, readability is something everyone are stressing on. They don't want a high-tech code in your projects. Okay, they don't want something. People comes and say, okay, you have written 1,000 lines of code in a very small number of lines. If the readability is if the readability is not there, they won't promote that. That is a very big what I can say, that is a very big feature nowadays people are stressing on. So that is a readability which Angular helps us to achieve. Then coming to reusability. As I told, it's a component based, right? User registration is a different thing. User details is a different thing. Or view results is a different thing. Everything is loosely coupled. So what we can do, we can use it in anywhere we require. It's not that every code is within the same file or same set of. There is no dependencies basically. So we can play with the components. We can place it anywhere we want. We can reuse the code basically. So that is one of the feature advantage that Angular provides us. And the third one is maintainability. So maintainability, again, on the same lines. It's component based. So if I want to make some changes in the user registration alone, I can go ahead and I can make some changes there. I need not worry that if I make a change in user registration here, it might affect my something else, because if it is tightly coupled, that should be the case. But since it's loosely coupled, it's easy to maintain. And the last one is async programming. Okay, so what happens is from the UI, we will have a call to the backend. Okay, it is like we will have many services deployed at the backend layer. The services basically is related to the database. Any CRUD operations that we want to do to the database, we will create services at the backend. And this UI, user is always facing the UI code, right? So what they will do, they will give out a request like, these are my details for a user, go and save. I'll click on the save button. It will take those details and it will call the service that is present at the backend layer. Once it reaches the backend layer, it will go to the database, do the saving, and that if it's saved successfully, no error has come, it will come back to the service layer. Okay, it is success, and the service layer will return the data again to the front end layer, the UI layer, stating everything is fine. So the user gets an success message. Okay, that is how a flow happens in an application. So async programming means, if suppose I am doing a save operation and it takes bit time for the service, when I call a service, it might take bit time for the service to be called, maybe some validation it has to do before saving to the database. It goes to the database, saves it, comes back to the service layer, comes back to the UI. So there might be some delay that would happen. So because of the delay, I should not wait other set of code on the UI to wait, right? If it is independent, the other rest of the code, let's execute that. We won't wait till that service returns the results. Okay, so that is what async means. It is not synchronized, it's async, meaning it won't wait till a service call returns a message. It will go ahead, it will work parallelly, so that it is a bit faster. Okay, so this is why we basically make use of Angular. Okay, because one is its architecture, it is not MVC, which is helpful in SPA applications. One is reusability, because it's component based, we can reuse it easily. Maintainability, because it is component, we can go ahead and edit any of the component and it won't affect the other modules. Then comes a readability. Any new person that is coming up and going through the code, he will be able to understand what it basically means. Then comes the async programming, that is parallel execution will happen. So there is no delay, basically. So this is why we are making use of Angular. Okay. Any questions so far? Or are you guys catching what I'm talking of?
So I had this doubt. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So like you were talking about asynchronous learning. So Ajax also works the same way, right?
Yes, jQueries you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that is basically we make use in the JavaScript, right? That is a refreshing of the data within the same staying on the
Without
same
reload, yes.
without reloading. Yes. So that is also, yeah. So that is a kind of applications. Earlier applications used to make use of jQueries, no, but it has some drawbacks. Maybe jQueries is a bit difficult to understand, or the amount of processing it does may be less. So Angular makes it a point that it provides a development platform where these things are all managed by the libraries it inbuilt has. Maybe that would be the answer. Yeah. Is it fine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A good question. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, so let me go ahead with how to create Angular project. So yeah, so for creating an Angular project, there are few prerequisites that we require. One is, as I have listed out, we require a Node JS. So what Node JS basically is, like JRE we have for Java, we will require a runtime environments for running this Angular projects. So basically we have this TypeScript codes which gets converted to the JavaScript codes. Okay, when we compile it, it gets converted to a JavaScript code. So the compiler that we make use, which the runtime environment that it has is Node.js. Okay, and we also require npm. Npm is a Node Package Manager. So when we go ahead and create an Angular project, there are a lot of dependencies, node dependencies, many library dependencies that we need. So what npm does is, it will download all those dependencies when we go ahead and create a project, Angular project. Okay, so the basic requirement is we require Node and npm. So since when I was working in the project, the version that we were supporting was Angular version 6. So with respect to that, I have listed down like the Node version should be greater than 8.x, and npm should be greater than 5.x. So that is with respect to Angular version 6. Okay. Then coming to the next point, that is the Angular CLI. So Angular CLI, it is a command line tool which will help us to create project quickly. So when we create a project, it is not a single file that we can create and go ahead, right? It requires a lot of configuration files in it, a lot of modules, dependencies needs to get installed. So what Angular CLI help us is, you can go ahead and create Angular projects with the simple commands. You need to give just simple commands, and CLI will take care of it, and he will go and create a basic setup for the Angular project. And the other thing is, for editing the Angular code, what we make use is Visual Studio Code. Yeah. So this is, so we are entering into how we can make use of Angular project. Okay. Okay. Okay, so before getting into how we can create a project, as I told, this components, how it will be, one component can have, as I told, if it's a user website, the home component will have user registration, user details, view details. So the home will have child as user details, user registration, view results. So those are the childs of the root. And user registration might internally have other related components. So it is a, so the structure, if we see, it is like a tree model. Root will be there, and then we will have different components. Beside that, internally we will might have more components. So the root component that we see when we create a project, this root component gets created by default. The sub components, the header, body, footer, sidebar, any other components that we have to go ahead and create. Okay, I just wanted you guys to know which component gets created and which are expected to be created from our side. So that is what the slide is for. Okay. So for this session, what I am thinking is, let us create a project. We will also create a component. We will create a service. We will do data binding. Okay, data binding is basically, we have data at the controller end. At the service layer, the service would be fetching us with some results to the UI. But the UI had to display that data dynamically. If the backend gets changed, it has to change at the front end as also. It cannot be a static data, right? So that is what data binding is. Binding the data from the backend to the front end. That way we can relate. Other thing is two-way binding. Two-way binding is, there is also operations where user will be inserting data. There will be an input text, user will be inserting data, and that will be reflected at the backend, and that would be gone. That would be saving later to the database. So that is a two-way. From backend also data will come, from front end also data will go. That is two-way. and the basic, that is how we can make use of a loop in this, and an if condition, and routing. Routing is a new feature that Angular has. So that going ahead, I will show you how we do a routing in this Angular. Okay. Any questions till now? I mean, this demo that I will show, it will be just useful for you guys to just see how it looks like. Okay. You won't be getting much idea on this, right? Within a short amount of time, nowhere possible for us to understand how entire syntax will work or that stuff. It will be just you will get to know, okay, this is how things looks like. Okay. Any questions, or is it fine till now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me take you to the program. Okay, so this is a Visual Studio Code. Anyone priorly made use of Visual Studio anytime? Where?
Yeah, we use it for C programming.
Okay, so you make use of
Basic
Visual Studio.
HTML.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you guys are familiar with this editor, right? Okay. So in this, what we will do is we will go ahead and create an Angular project. So I have created one folder as Angular project. Let me go ahead and create. This is the Angular CLI, what we see here. Okay, the command line. So the commands that it has is very basic. Any person will come and he can, seeing the command, he can analyze, okay, what the purpose is. So for creating a project, I'll go for ng, that is Angular. New project name, let me just go for project DBIT. So what this will do is it will go ahead and create a sample project named as project DBIT. And okay, it is asking me whether I should enable routing to the project. Okay, routing, as I told, I will let you know going ahead. So I'm telling yes, let the routing be enabled. Also, it is asking what kind of a style sheet you want when we are styling it. So CSS or SCSS, let's go for CSS. So once done, it has created, if you see here, we can see a lot of configuration files and a kind of a component that has been created. And it is what it is doing is, this is a npm that is running, that is a node package manager. It is trying to download all the node modules, the dependencies that this project will basically need. Okay, so let me open this project DBIT. The source code, okay, that always sits inside this src. Okay, we can see, right, node module has just come up. So this npm is trying to add all the dependencies for this project within this node modules src. If I open src, as I told in the slide, let me, okay, this slide, right, we see a root component. This is the root component that we have, app. That is a main component. Okay, and this is a by default set of code that it has provided. Okay. So when a component gets generated, it is basically 4 files. Till now I was talking about component and component. You guys would be like, what this component is. So when talking about component, consider it as a folder kind of a structure, which will have its related its related files. As I took of user as a website. So if I go for user registration, okay, so user registration should have a HTML file, right? On clicking on user registration, what should user see? There would be the first name, last name, that kind of a detail. Then comes its styling. What kind of a style I should apply to the headers or paragraphs, or the should it be centrally aligned or should be left aligned? That kind of details we will provide in the CSS file. Other thing is a TypeScript file. So TypeScript will basically have the details, the logic I wouldn't say the logic, pure logic. It is like what we should display on the screen. Okay, what we are receiving from the backend, the other service layer, they would be providing us with some response. So how that response I should manipulate and display to the front end. Okay, that manipulation happens at the TS layer, that is the app component TS. Okay, here basically all that logic that we want, we can have it, and then whatever changes we do gets reflected in the HTML code. Okay, so that is what component is. It basically consists of 4 things. One is the CSS files, one is HTML file, one is a TS file. The last one is a test case file. So for a single component, as I told, everything is loosely coupled. We can have a test case for only that component alone. So it will provide us with a spec file in which we can go ahead and have its unit testing added. Okay. So when we create a project, the first file that it loads is this index.html. That is a file, that is the entry point to a project. So when we get into this index.html, we see this tag. Okay, in the body, what am I supposed to display? I am supposed to display app root. So what is this app root? So if I go to this app component, and if I open this, its TS file, okay, this is a class, and it is given an @ component. That is an annotation, annotation provided, which will tell Angular that this is a component, this is a class. Okay, so when it comes to this class, it sees 3 things here. One is a selector, which has some random name. One is a URL, which has this HTML's URL. You see this app.component.html. That URL I could see against template URL. Other thing is a style URL. That is the CSS thing that we have. So whenever Angular comes up, Angular gets a notification, okay, component, that is a class. It gets into this class. Coming here, it sees some of the metadata. In metadata, it has a name, that is a selector name. Then he sees, okay, this is the HTML file that this TS file would refer. So I have to, when this component is being called, this is the HTML file that I should use. Also, okay, if this is a component, this is the styling file that I should use. So that is what this set of code does. So this selector, right? When a component gets a selector name, this selector can be used as any other HTML tags. Like we have H or P, H1, H2, P, that kind of tags. Similar way, we can make use of this tag as well. This we can behave. This will also behave as a tag. So that is what we had seen in index.html. Index.html sees this app root. So that is the name that this component has. So it will basically load this component, and it will see this is the HTML. So when the user will go ahead and run this project, he should be able to see component, app component HTML on the browser. Okay, clear till now?
Yes.
Yeah, I know this would be going bit above. You guys won't be able to correlate much. Okay, just take it in a way that you are able to, you are seeing few codes related to Angular, and you will get a gist of it. Okay, this is how things is. This is how the flow is. Okay, otherwise you guys will also be bored, I am sure. I mean, because you won't be able to take it, right? Am I right, or how it is? Anyone? Any comments?
Hello.
Yeah.
Is
yes.
it like see I used to code in Django. So there is URLs dot in that URLs file there is some kind of routing happening. So is it similar kind of thing here?
Sorry, I'm not aware of Django. Sorry, my
Okay,
bad.
no
Yeah.
problem.
Okay.
I
So
think it's the
in
same
Django,
way. Yeah.
it's same way, is it? Okay. So
Yes.
you used to make it. Who is the speaking? May I know your name?
Tayyabali.
Oh, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought some of the students. Okay, so I don't have much experience. I don't know regarding Django, so I cannot comment on that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So going ahead. Okay, so this is how a project gets created. So this is one of the root component that it creates. Later on, we want to add different components. We have different views to be displayed to the users. So we will go ahead and create different components. So let me go ahead and show you how to create different components. Let me get into the directory that we had just created, the project directory, dbit. Now ng Angular generate component. Let's see, user register. Okay. Let me create one component named user register. So it is asking me, what it is, some kind of, would you like to share anonymous usage data about this project with the Angular team? That should be fine. I'm going with this. Now, as we see here, we see what it has created, right? One is an HTML file, one is a specification file, one is a TypeScript file, other one is a CSS file. As I told, 4 things gets generated when we create a component. So if I go inside app, I see this user register. This is a component that it has been generated. CSS would be empty, HTML, it works fine. And this is the test cases that if you want, if we are adding any new code, we have to come here and edit its test cases. And this is a component. This is a class file. That it is a class, and it is given as an @ component annotation. It has a selector, it has template URL, style URL. Okay, this is basically how we create a project and how we create a component. And okay, as I told earlier, what I did is I have a set of code set already. I have coded a bit and I have commented things out, so that one by one I will uncomment and I will show you what the response is. The kind of features that we will be covering, as I had mentioned in this the slide. One is create project, create component. One will be data binding, other would be two-way binding, if condition, for loop, right? So that I will take you to this project that I had created for this purpose. Okay, let me change my directory. cd. Okay. Here if I come, I have created one component called as first component. And if I go to the index for this, I see it requires AppRoot. Let me go to AppRoot then. This is the AppRoot. We see the AppRoot. It comes here and it says, okay, the template URL should be HTML file. Okay, let me go to the HTML. So what I'm doing here is, okay, let me comment this out. Well, this. Let me have just to show you that it works. Okay, so this is what I have in the component.html. So let me make this project up. So the command that we give is ng serve. So this will compile the things up, and it will provide us with a localhost URL that we should hit, and we can see this getting populated. Hello world. We'll just give 1 minute. It should load it. Wait. Okay, till that loads, let me take you to the component that I have created. So I have created another component called as first component. Okay, so the first component, I have a set of data that I have created. one is for a data binding to show you how data binding works. Other one is two-way binding. Other one is a for loop. Other one is an if loop. Yeah. So let the project start, then we'll go one by one. Yeah, the second year students, are you guys following?
Yeah.
How is it? I mean, taking class from home is good, or coming to college and having lectures there is good? Which one you guys prefer?
Home.
Home, is it? Okay, yeah, it's our convenient, right? We need not get dressed up and get into college. I thought the other way. You would be telling from college.
For second years, it would be college because we haven't experienced.
Yeah, first year also you were from home, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you never got a chance to sit for lectures in the college itself.
No, never.
Okay, maybe from next year or maybe 2-3 months. Yeah, so we see it is compiled successfully and it tells a local host. Okay, the server is listening to this local host, that is 4200. Let me go to this. Let me take localhost 400. If I go, I see hello world. Okay, so the project is up. We have just this is how the flow is. Okay, index.html approot, it will come to that approot component, it will see the HTML, it will go to the HTML, and it will see the it will display what is present within this. Okay, now what I will do is I basically want the first component, the HTML details that is present in the first component to be displayed on the screen. So what I will do, I have its selector name, right? When I create a first component, every component will have its selector name. So this selector name I can make use within the app component. So that is what I have done here. Okay. This is the selector name for the first component, and I am making use within the app component. So whatever details that is present inside first component will be displayed to the user. Let's see if that works. Okay, so this first component, everything is commented out. It just have this user details as an header. Let me go and see. Okay, I see this user detail has come up. Fine, cool. Now, going ahead, user details. Okay, let me go to the class. So what I will try to do is, okay, I have created a the main purpose would be to show some of the user details on the screen. So for that purpose, I have created one model class. Model class basically is nothing, it's just a object which will have all the properties that we want to display. Okay, so it has, what I have created is a first name, last name, address, and phone number. Phone number being a string of array. Sorry, array of strings. Sorry. Okay. So here in this component class, I am creating an object for this user. User is a model class which will have the entire details of first name, last name, middle, phone number, and the address. And it has a method called as ng-on in it. We are implementing one of the, when we create a component, it by default has this implements on in it, and it has this method already present. So this is like when this component is getting loaded, the first method that it will refer is within this. Okay, whatever is present inside this ng-on in it, this is the method it will refer. This will be the details. Okay, so what I am having one variable. This is a class variable, similar to Java. I have a class variable, and I don't know, I'm just giving any, let its type, what it is, a data type be any. Any as you can also assign it as a number, or it is a string, anything. It is user's choice. Whatever we assign, that will be its data type. Okay, so I'm giving a string. I have a value in it. Then the other details of the model class, that is a last name, address, and phone number. I am assigning it manually. This is done. Okay, let's only concentrate till here. And if I go to the HTML class, let me uncomment this thing. Okay, so what I will displaying is a data binding stuff. So on the screen, you can see on the HTML, you can see I'm making use of the object that I have inside this TS file. This is a class variable, and the same class variable I'm making use in the HTML within this curly braces. This is basically called as interpolation. Okay, and this is how the data binding happens. If we have a class member, class variable, and if we are giving that inside this curly braces, whatever value that we have in the TS file will get populated on this. So that is the basic concept of data binding. So we make use of this interpolation. This is one of the feature that Angular has. So let me just save this, okay, and let me just see what has been loaded. I see this is a data binding example, and the first name, whatever is there, a variable that I had assigned, and this everything I had given it manually assigned. Okay, so this is regarding the data binding concept that we have. Any questions on data binding? You guys are following, right? I believe. No comments, is it? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I won't take much time. Yeah. Okay. The other thing is the two-way binding. So two-way binding is like what we saw in the data binding is when we get data from the backend and we're displaying it to the front end. Now from front end also there would be a chance I will have some value and I have to display it to the user. So if you see here, what we are having is this kind of an annotation, that is a ng model. Okay, what it does is, if you see input variable, and if I go to the component class, I have created one input variable, right, with the name as Tom. And this variable I'm basically assigning as a first name. Okay, in the HTML code, for this input variable, I'm creating a text box, and I'm telling whatever I type in, okay, that will go to the backend for this variable, and this variable's value will be displayed as a first name. Okay, getting I mean from UI, from HTML, this value will be mapped to TS class, this variable. This variable will be, this variable will have a value now, and that value I am displaying as a first name. So if I go ahead and if I show you, okay, this is already loaded. This is a two-way binding. So this is a Tom. Tom is a name that we had given, initialized in the component class, TS file. If I go ahead and let me change it to Savio, I see it as the value that I gave in the HTML file that went to the TS file. That variable was assigned to this value, and it came back to the UI, and the place where it was displayed, where the data binding was happening, that also got the new value. So that is a two-way data binding, front and back. I mean, from backend, data is coming to the front end. From front end, the data is going to the backend. That way. Yeah, that is related to the two-way binding. So till now, we just saw how to create a project, how to create components, how data binding is, and how two-way binding is. Okay, let me take you the other thing, that is, I had already typed the code because no, I don't want you guys to spend time no, I would be coding and you would be just looking, right? And as it's not an hands-on session, it is just an introduction, so I had things ready so that I won't take much of your time. Okay, so this is a for loop part. So what in for loop we are doing is, if we go to the component, the object that we had created, this phone, it was a array of string. If we go to the model, we saw it was an array. So when we want to display details of an array, it should be, we have to iterate the details, right? So that we can make, for that purpose, we make use of for loop. So I just just get you to the syntax, how this for loop we do. It's a normal for loop. It is like Angular for, that is ng for, and prefix is a star, star ng for, and this is the similar way we have it in Java, right? So it is like for, as we have for each kind of loops, that way it has let items of the variable, the user object's phone, which we have from the TS file. We would be iterating that, and each object of that would be given a name as items, and that items I am displaying. Okay, so if I see this, I see the same data present here. Right? Twice it has been printed. If I go ahead and if I make it as, let me give some random number. Sorry. Numlock was Let me save this. I see 3 rows has been generated for phone. So that is with a single line of code, multiple things I can iterate and display to the user. In the earlier examples, I had explicitly given as the 0th element, the first element. So here it is iterating the entire object. Okay, that is regarding the for loop. These are the basic things. I mean, you guys would be able to catch for loop and if loop, because we have no similar kind of things in Java as well. Yeah. Then comes up the if condition. So in if condition, similar to for loop, how we have is, we had ng for with the prefix of star. Similarly, we will have star ng if. Okay, and we can give some conditions to this, right? We can have some kind of assignments. We can check whether it is true, if any variable is true, or if any variable is matching with something. If that is a condition, then let's go ahead and print something or have some div enabled. Else we won't have this div itself. If this is false, we won't have this div. If it comes true, we will have this div. So for that purpose, what I have done in order to show you how ngIf works, I have just created one method, that is a toggle method. Okay, for calling a method on click. In JavaScript, we have on click function. Here it is a click surrounded by a round brackets. So if I go to toggle, I have some logic inside it. If this, I'm passing a value in it. If it is expand, just change the name of the button to collapse. And if it is collapse, let's change it to expand. Just a random logic. Okay, and I have this ngIf in it. Let me run this and show you how it is. Okay, I see an expand button down. Let me click on expand. Okay, so when I clicked on expand, the div got enabled and it is, it is printing what was there inside the div. If I click on collapse, again it went off. So this is a basic if condition logic that this has. Okay, so that is regarding the what it is. That is regarding the features. A few of the features that I wanted you guys to be aware since we are having this session. So it's better that you guys will have an knowledge on how if conditions or for loops, or how we create a project, how we do a data binding, that kind of a concept you guys would be aware of. So let us, is it fine if I go ahead, or how it is, ma'am? The small portion regarding routing, if I want to cover, or is it exceeding?
Actually, I think they have scheduled classes.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so let me do a hard stop here, and this is what I wanted to give an introduction to what Angular is. For sure, no one can have an hands-on with this specific limited time, but you guys would be just aware now. Like she was talking something related to Angular. In future, if you will hear these words, you will recollect. Maybe you will recollect that okay, this is what things works. just a flow of the project. That was the motive I wanted you guys to have on. So yeah, that's up from my side. Yep.
Any questions from participants? Any general questions or any comparison with technologies or anything like that?
I hope I haven't wasted your time, guys. I hope this will be fruitful to you guys somewhere at some amount of time. Not now, but maybe in future somewhere.
Okay, so okay, thank you, Fessy, for giving a quick introduction to Angular. So
Yes.
I was also not aware about it. And
Yes.
for final year students, they must have got almost 80-90% of what you have covered. And for second year students, I would say, see, for any technology, if you want to learn, you just listen first. Like quick start we have.
Yes.
You set the environment and get Hello World and few things running on the browser. And then maybe you can forget. And then if you need to work on the project, then you have a quick setup ready. You can just
Yes.
go back and start learning and work on it. The
Yes.
same way you do it for Django, Node.js, AngularJS, Angular, or Docker, any technology, whatever you want to work. Set it up, do quick startup, quick small projects, and done.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Bessie, for giving quick introduction again, and you explained things very in a way like our students, CIT students. I was wondering whether they will understand these components and coupling and all those things. But explain them in very simple terms,
Yes.
and yeah. So I hope students will pick up, or they will at least know that this is a technology which you can use for web-related projects. And
Sure.
yeah, we look forward to have you in future for, let's say, hands-on, maybe
Yeah, sure.
small project kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and finally, I would like to also thank you for the participants for interacting, asking questions, and listening patiently. So I'll be sharing the feedback forms in the respective WhatsApp group. So please call the feedback. Fessy, we will be uploading this thing on YouTube. Do you mind?
Yeah, sure, sir.
We have a LinkedIn channel. So
Yep, sure.
yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Yeah. Thank you.
So, let me end the meeting formally.